What it says about creation is true. What it says about mankind is true. What it says about every circumstance in life is true. So we need to understand this, and I want us to be able to have a boldness and a confidence to speak God's word to people, to not be afraid to tell them the truth, to not be afraid to share with them. You know, they may reject. Well, then think about how you might say it differently next time. Pray for them, you know. Think about people that you need to share with. Think about people in your life. Ask God to bring people that are open, because there's lots of people open that want to know about these things. All right, how's our time? I think we're done. Right. I wanted to open it up for some questions, if you have some questions. Or yes, sir.
About the flood. Now, I'm from India.
Mm-hmm.
My mother tongue is Tamil, which is as old as Hebrew and Greek.
Okay.
And the history of the language says that there was a flood. Before the flood, so one piece of land extending from South Africa to Philippines, going down to South Pole. They spoke one language. It was a great culture. And it says, after the flood, the piece of land that was there went under the sea. So there's one evidence. Then the other one is about Francis Collins. He's a very brilliant geneticist.
He's a what now?
He's a brilliant geneticist.
Okay, geneticist, yeah. Uh-huh.
He's written a book on language of God.
Right.
It's an excellent work. But
Right.
the man has sold his conscience for 30 pieces of silver. He believes in evolution and also the Bible. How could this be?
A lot.
Brilliant man, he does this. And for doing this, he got a promotion. Now he's the director of National Institutes of Health.
Right.
Anyway, the other one is we don't judge, but we discern. So we are allowed
Right.
to discern. So we do it all the time.
Right. He that is spiritual judges all things, but he himself is not spiritually judged. And the idea of there's a difference. There's two Greek words. There's judgment is to pass sentence. You know, I'm not people's judge. I don't judge anybody. You know, in fact, I always tell people, don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. Right? God's the one that said you're going to go to hell, not me. I'm not telling you that, but he said it. Right? Because I don't want it to be personal. I don't want it to be in their face. Because I'm not going to send anyone to hell. I don't want anyone to go. Neither does Jesus. Right. So, I think the way that people actually do this, again, it's you have to understand. You know, my daughter's in the second grade in a class in California, and they're teaching her about fossils and how fossils are formed. And this, I actually quote this in my book because I found the exact same thing in a 7th grade book when she was there later. Alligator dies and floats to the bottom of the ocean, and it's slowly covered by sediment over long periods of time, becomes hardened and becomes a fossil. And that's how a fossil is made. Now, I am so astounded that somebody would say this, and I don't know why some scientists haven't done more work with this, how fossils are really formed, because that's just utter nonsense. It would decay long before it would become a fossil. It would be eaten long before it became a fossil from the inside out. The water would cause it to decay rapidly. There's nothing left in a matter of a month, probably. There's no way it's going to, if it's a fossil is not flooded immediately and covered, if with a mixture, basically it's a cement. I mean, you get all the minerals out there and you mix them together in a flood, all of this stuff, it's going to decay. That's why there's so few human beings, because they could escape and get out of the way of the flood, and they died and decayed in the water. And so it's hard when people are so smart, but they literally have. It's like my friend, and he's a great guy. He really is. He helped me so many times, but he just doesn't think good. He has the wrong philosophy. He does not have a Christian worldview. This is what, and again, I don't want to just harp on the book, but that's what it's really about. This is Christian worldview. This is how you think to be a Christian. And if you think this way, then you'll think right. And I'm not saying it's not like I'm the only one, but I've taken this stuff from 40 years of study, 38 years, and I've talked to thousands and thousands of people. I've had many pastors. I've had many friends. I've talked to scientists. I've talked to people. I've learned this is the right way to think. And I think it's right. And so when the guy comes up like that geneticist, it's like, well, he's never taken, his mind has never been renewed. He's literally caught up in this, it's a demonic thought process. It literally is. They're deceived. Again, I'm not mad at them, but they're deceived. But I'm also not embarrassed to believe in a young earth. And I know that it's as good a philosophy as anything. And I maybe can't prove that it's young, but you can't prove it's old either. So I'm going to believe God until you change your proof system. If you can prove it's old, then I'll reconsider. But I don't see how they can do that. I've looked at it every way possible. Somebody else. Yes, sir.
Did you say in your talk that there were 4 things that Peter prophesied?
Yeah.
And I thought I only heard you talk about 3 of them.
Yeah, well, I did talk about the 4th. I think it's uniformity, naturalism, rejection of the flood or catastrophism, and then a rejection of future judgment. The idea that they deliberately, that the same word, the heavens and earth are reserved for fire, being kept for the day of judgment, destruction of ungodly men. And that's really not as clear a prophecy, but it's really a part of it more underlying why people don't want to believe in God. Because they don't want him to judge him. And who wants to be? Well, we do want to, but we just want it to be, you're wonderful. And he's not going to tell us all that. Somebody else. Yes, sir.
You said at the beginning that one of the things you wanted to bring home was need to engage people.
Yes.
Would you summarize this for us? What is the technique that you prefer for how to engage people?
Okay. I'm not a great advocate of some aspects of the intelligent design theory. I mean, I think it's great. It's true. I just don't believe it's the best place to start, at least how I've read it and understood it. It's not about how did life go from a simple form to a complex form, which is generally what's understood about intelligent design. Because that has outs. If you read Dawkins, he reads Beale and he just rips him apart and says, oh, he doesn't understand me. Right? Okay, well, I understand that he's sincerely doing that. He said, well, he just doesn't get it. That's what he says about him. He says, well, he doesn't understand that all this, we're not saying this just happened, we're just saying it happened really slowly over a long period of time. Okay, so it's like, okay, so do I argue that is that the best argument to give? I think this is how I approach it. And here's a good illustration. A young lady, 12 years in a Christian school, Christian education, studied apologetics, first day, first class, Chapman University. Anthropology professor says, anyone who believes in the existence of God and can demonstrate it, please stand up and do so. This is a great young lady who really loves the Lord and is a strong Christian.